So today we are again in the StatShark. This is a very cool website that basically brings everything from basically the files and calculates a lot of things. And today we're gonna calculate flight models to try to bring to your attention what is probably going to be the best aircraft in the game after the update is released. We are very close to the Hornet Sting update, of course, and we're gonna show to you guys basically some aircraft over here that could be the best aircraft in the game. So we're gonna compare in various situations, of course, first in actual performance, and then after that we're gonna talk a little bit about sensors and missiles and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna compare most of the effort, like all the effort 14.0 in BRs, and then some other ones. Like I'm gonna add the J11B because it's being added right now, the J10A, which is an aircraft that I think is just on performance especially, it's almost on par with some of these other aircraft. And yeah, let's take a look. So the F-15E, the Eurofighter, the Su-30SM, the Rafale, F-18. So yeah, first of all, let's talk about time to speed, which is probably the most important graph that you can have to measure acceleration, basically, right? In the amount of time that it will take to get to certain speed. So we are comparing a very low altitude over here down to the deck, and you will notice some things. So at first, the Su-30SM will be the worst, okay? So don't expect the Su-30 to be a fast aircraft in terms of acceleration. You know, it's just an aircraft that really is not fast accelerating. But also, although the F-18 can accelerate pretty fast, almost one of the best out there, almost comparable to the Eurofighter in the F-15E in acceleration, add up to like 1,000, 1,200, it starts to basically don't have a lot of max speeds, and that will be a problem with the F-18. Although it has an amazing acceleration, it doesn't have max speed, okay? So we already can draw some conclusions. The J11 and J10 are one of the worst over here. I mean, way better than the Su-30, but not the greatest. The Rafale, pretty good, but not the greatest as well. The Eurofighter, pretty amazing, almost the best, but the F-15E just takes the cake. So yeah, at low altitudes, the acceleration of the F-15E will be way better than anything else. You can think that the Su-27SM will be around the same as the J11B as well, okay? So an aircraft such as that will be around there. So you can already see that although the Su-30SM will have an amazing performance in turning and everything, at the acceleration part it will be really bad. And you can already see that although the F-18 has an amazing acceleration and it will have an amazing turn, it doesn't have the max speed. So honestly, guys, we're gonna get to it, but at the end of the day, I still believe the kings that we already have in the game will remain the kings for the next update, okay? We can draw some other conclusions at a higher altitude as well. Let's do like 10,000 meters over here from 1,500 kilometers per hour to 2,500. Something like that. Why is it not going? It's not that fast. Hold up. And yeah, there you go. You can already see it here. Something that it is happening again, so from 1,500 you can see that the F-18 is already the worst because it doesn't have max speed. So yeah, don't expect the F-18 to be a fast aircraft in general compared to the other ones. Not that you're gonna get to those speeds, but in a general sense, the very low speeds acceleration of the F-18 is amazing, but everything else is really bad. The Su-30SM, one of the worst accelerations as well. It is fast, but it is one of the worst accelerations out of them all. The J10 as well, not the greatest. J11B, a little bit better over here, as you see. And you can see the winners from before, the F-15E, the Rafale being much better in these higher speeds, but having a much lower, max speed than some of the others. Way higher than the F-18, but still. And yeah, the Eurofighter is there, everybody else is there, So you can see that the Rafale is a little bit better here. But yeah, the three best aircraft still being the best. But the J11B is up there as well, which is pretty cool, right? We can take a look on some other things, like for example, top speed by altitude. So we're gonna try to get to a certain speed over here. So let me check. So you can already see over here in this graph that it is problematic as well for the F-18. So yeah, very low max speed compared to some of the other ones. You can already see that at 12K over here, it's the maximal possible speed that you can take on the F-18, and it's way lower than some of the others, although, for example, the Rafale in theory can get to much faster speeds, technically could get to 3,000 kilometers in theory. You can see that the VNE, the max possible speed, is around the same as the F-18. So it's just that in these parts over here, the Rafale will be able to follow around, but it will break the wings if you go faster than that. So here you can basically just take a look on the VNE. All of these aircraft will be able to go past it if they wouldn't break it. The only aircraft that cannot do that is the F-18 pretty much. So yeah, as you can see, the faster aircraft over here would still be the F-15 technically, right? Because it has the highest VNE of them all. But if you wait long enough, the J-11 can be faster than the F-15E, but it's just going to take a little bit more time. But yeah, technically the J-11 can be faster than the F-15E in a very, very high speeds and altitudes, right? So, which is kind of funny, but yeah, faster than the Eurofighter, faster than anybody else, right? So at the end of the day, what can we draw from this particular moment is that the Su-30 will be slow getting to speed. The F-18 will be fast getting to speed, but it will have a very low max speed. The Su-30SM will have a pretty good max speed, but a very bad acceleration. In the lower airspeeds, the F-15 or altitudes, the F-15E is still the king, Eurofighter second, Rafale in third. In the higher speeds and altitudes, the F-15E and Rafale are pretty much the same. This is all in acceleration. Eurofighter followed by max speed. Rafale is the worst all of them all, so each of these aircraft will have its own abilities and problems. The J-11B, amazing max speed at high altitudes, the best probably in the game for this comparison, right? Not the best, but it's up there. It's very good. The F-15E, I think it's still better. It's just, depends on situation. As you can see from this graph, in the very, very high speeds and altitudes, the J-11 will be a little bit faster, but it's not by much. It's like a very tiny amount over here. You can see, where is the J-11? No, actually, the J-11 is right here, right? So, yeah, it is faster a little bit, but not by much, and then it becomes lower than the F-15E. So it's around the same. So, every aircraft has its own abilities and, its own thing. So, for the in-game purposes, acceleration, max speed, I think still the Eurofighter is the best all-arounder. F-15E will be amazing as an interceptor, but the Eurofighter will be the best all-arounder, together kind of with the Rafale, but there are other possible considerations that we need to take in here, okay? If we take a look on turn performance, so that we can see the last graph of pure performance over here, because in the turn performance, we can see some other things. For example, guys, we can see that it doesn't matter what happens here. If we take, it doesn't matter the speed, but what is the best possible scenario in turn without taking into account the AOA limiter off, the Rafale would still technically turn better, as you can see for this graph. So it turns a lot more and for a lot longer. The Rafale in second, the F-18 in third, J-10 in fourth, and then the F-15E, the J-11, the Su-30, and so on. So, yeah, the Rafale is still going to turn better than some of the other aircrafts. Again, I'm not even considering the AOA limiter because, for example, the Su-30SM will have the ability of having the most amount of nose authority compared to any other aircraft in the game. Again, showing that it depends on every aircraft. And at the end of the day, guys, although the Rafale technically turns better, the Su-30SM will be able, if a skilled pilot, is using the aircraft, he can still beat the Rafale because of that nose authority. So at the end of the day, turning capability will change a lot, and we will need to physically test the vehicles and see how it is performing using the AOA limiter off to see how that will play out with the game. And we're not even talking about sensors because, let's be honest, out of these all, the Rafale and the Su-30SM are the ones that have the best radars. They are PESA and IESA radars, right? So, yeah, and in the missile department, the Su-30SM wins. So, at the end of the day, guys, it depends very much on what the type of aircraft you like. I still believe the best all-arounder will be the Eurofighter. But the Su-30SM, if you can deal with the amount of lack of acceleration that this aircraft has, it will be the best if you handle the lack of acceleration. And why is that? Because you will have basically the best BVR situation of them all. PESA radar, amazing range, and R77-1. You will have the R73, which is arguably one of the best missiles in the game. It has 14 missiles, has very good top speed, although it takes time getting there. It's the only the only problem with this aircraft. It will basically be amazing in a dogfight because of the nose authority if you use it correctly, the AOA limiter, thrust vectoring, everything like that. So, yeah. I still believe that Su-30SM will be the best aircraft in the game, but not by much because of the lack of acceleration. It will mean that an Eurofighter can deal with an Su-30SM easily in the BVR, for example. It has a way worse radar, but still, with the new TWS Plus, it can deal with it. In a dogfight, you can deal with it if you know what you're doing. A Rafale, problem is BVR. Mika is a very bad missile for BVR. Amazing radar, but very bad missile for BVR. Magic 2's not the greatest thing ever, but it's still pretty amazing missile. Amazing in a dogfight, but it lacks that long range capability. That's why I don't like it so much. I think still it is important to have the BVR capability to be considered the best aircraft in the game, especially if other ones have it. The F-15E, more of a BVR machine, but it can dogfight well as well. So it will lack a little bit here and there, but it will be there, just have to be used correctly. G11B, J10A, they lack a little bit here, a little bit there, power, turn, radar. So at the end of the day, I still believe they're going to be on the back side of these, but they are the only 13.7s that we're considering in this list. And the F-18C will be up there, but it is still a problematic aircraft in one regard, max speed, which limits the BVR capability of this aircraft. I still believe you have to have speed and and climb basically, but especially speed to get the BVR working. So it doesn't mean that the BVR will be bad in this aircraft, but there are better aircraft out there for BVR. In the turning capability, it will be up there for one of the best aircraft. So again, it's hard to say what is going to be the best. I think the best all-arounder will be the Su-30SM with only one problem. But at the end of the day, I think still for the majority of the players, the easiest aircraft to fly will be the Eurofighter, followed by the F-18C and F-15E. Very fine margins over here. The hardest of the 14.0s will definitely be the Rafale because of the lack of BVR, but still in the short ranges, it will be a menacing aircraft, okay? But anyway, this is my opinion only, analyzing data, analyzing how these aircraft felt in the dev server. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know in the comments what you think about the best aircraft in the game after the patch. We're gonna for sure test these when the time comes. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye.